Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey, how's everyone doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Yes. So tonight I'm going to be talking about California 3-day notice process. And I'm going to be explaining that. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you tonight. I'm going to repeat this a couple of times, but we're going to do it right now. This is educational information only. I am not an attorney. This is not legal advice. Laws could vary by city and county, but we're going to be talking about the California 3-day notice process. So this is for California. Hey, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. So as I'm sharing, if you have any questions, you could put it in the chat. Let me know. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll repeat some stuff as people come in. All right. So, hey everyone, my name is Itonya. I go by Real Estate by Itonya. I've worked in property management for 25 years. I've been a realtor for 7 years. I currently manage a building in the Bay Area of 39 units. And I focus mostly on housing education so people understand the process before things escalate. So tonight, we're going to be talking about the 3-day notice to pay rent or quit and what that means. And this notice is this notice is the first step that you need to take before you get sent to evictions, before you get what they call the unlawful detainer. So this is the first step in that process, this 3-day notice. So we're going to be talking about what that means, what you should do when you get a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit. And I thought it's a series I'm going to be starting. I thought it would be a good time to do it because guess what's due next week? Rent is due. So let me start by saying this clearly. Missing rent does not automatically mean eviction. So just because you get that 3-day notice doesn't mean you're going to automatically get evicted. So tonight we're going to be breaking down the 3-day notice to pay or quit, what it is, what it isn't, what renters should do, what landlords should do. What landlords need to do to get it right. So I like to make sure that both parties is educated. Then that way it could save people some time. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So there are different type of 3-day notices. So I want to clear that up. So there are different type of 3-day notices, but the one that we're going to be focusing on is the pay rent or quit because that one ties in to your rent. So the other 3-day notices is lease violations, non-rent issues, and we'll cover those later in the series. So the month of February, I'm going to be doing a series on this eviction process. So I'm in California. I am in Northern California, particularly the Bay Area, and I am very familiar with Alameda County court system. Welcome, everyone. Good to have you. Good to have you. So, what is a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit? So, a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit, to pay rent or quit notice that says you owe rent and you have 3 business days to either pay the rent or move out. So what it's not an eviction, it's not a court filing, it's not a lockout, it's not a sheriff notice. This is the first step this is the first step, not the last step. And that's good to know because back in the day, you go to the door, tell people they got to get out and all that sort of stuff. Well, now we have tenant protections, we have laws, so you can't do that. So thank you everyone for joining tonight. So I want to go over, first I'm going to go over some green flags and some red flags for the renters, and then I'm going to do the same for the landlords, and then we got to bring it all together, okay? So green flags for renters, what to do if you get a 3-day notice posted on your door. So you want to read the notice fully. You want to check that the amount and dates match. The amount should only be rent that you owe. It shouldn't be late fees. It shouldn't be utilities. It shouldn't be I pay for parking. I pay a pet rent or a fee. It's only rent. You want to act quickly on it because you got 3 business days. It doesn't include the day that you get the notice, and it doesn't include the weekends or holidays. So it's 3-day notice. It's 3 days starting the next business day. That's when you start counting those 3 days. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Thank you. So you want to pay the rent if you can, exactly how the notice says. So the notice is going to tell you how to pay the rent, when you can pay the rent, who to pay the rent to if you're not sure of who you should be paying the rent to. You want to keep proof that you made the payment, and you want to communicate in writing, preferably not text, but preferably writing. You send an email, just want to let you know I dropped off the rent, just want to let you know I mailed the rent, just want to let you know. Now, if you're mailing the rent, be careful because they have to receive that rent within the 3 days. So be careful if you are mailing the rent. I'm a community manager. I like when people communicate with me. I don't want to chase you down. I don't want to have to call, hey, you got this 3-day notice. Are you going to be paying rent within the 3 days? Are we going to be starting this eviction process? Are you just going to leave? What are your plans? Tell me what your plans is. Tell your landlord, your manager, whoever you're paying the rent to, let them know what your plan is. Hey, I don't have it right now, but I get, my check it's coming. It was delayed. There was an error from the bank, an error from the job. Whatever it is, communicate that. Just don't ignore the 3-day notice. Communicate what is going on. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So let me just go over real quickly the green flags. The green flag. You want to read the notice fully. Check the amount and the dates. Act quickly. You only have 3 business days. Pay the rent if you can, exactly how the notice says, whether they want you to drop it off at the leasing office, whether they want you to mail it, whether they want you to Zelle it, Cash App, Venmo, I see it all. Pay the rent if you can, exactly as the notice says. Keep proof that you made the payment and communicate in writing. So let's talk about some of the red flags. So this is still for the renters, what to do. So the renters, red flags, do not ignore the notice. That's a red flag. Do not, red, like my sweater, red flag. Do not ignore the notice. Assuming it's already over. Throwing it away. Stopping rent completely. letting fear stop you from understanding. Don't be embarrassed because you got a 3-day notice. Things happen. Life happens. Most of the people, unfortunately, that I had to do an eviction for last year was just they had life happen. Someone got in a car accident. Someone lost their job. Someone broke up with their partner. There were just life things that happened, and they got into a place where they couldn't pay the rent. So, but it's nothing to be embarrassed about. But for me, I'm the type of person, communicate with me, let me know what's going on, and I'm going to let you know how I can help you. I'm going to let you know what to do. I mean, I told someone, hey, look, you need to get this rent paid. A, B, and C is going to happen. I walked them through the whole process of what's going to happen. I did my best to try to help them out and everything, but we're in evictions now because he didn't listen to what I said, or he was embarrassed, or he didn't want to, but anyway, things happen, right? So one of the other red flags is doing nothing is the fastest way to move closer to court. So if you don't respond to the 3-day notice, and then I'm getting a little ahead of myself, you get an unlawful detainer and you don't respond to that, then it's like you didn't respond, so the process goes much faster. If you respond, it takes a little bit of time. It's a little bit ahead, but in Alameda County, it's been about 4 months, and we finally settled, and this part of the settlement, they asked for 75 more days to move out. So it took us 4 months to get to court. Then during our settlement, they get 75 more days. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to talk about what happens after the 3-day notice later. But right now, we're talking about the green flags and the red flags for the renters for the 3-day notice. Okay, let me just pause right there, make sure I don't have any questions right now. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you. Okay, you can share this live. Let people know we're up. We're talking about the 3-day notice process because we're going to be informed and educated, right? Let me just put my disclaimer out there. I am not an attorney. This is for educational purposes. I'm just sharing you my 25 years of experience in the business and what I see all the time. So we're just sharing, not an attorney. Okay, this is not legal advice. All right. So now I want to just say what's important for the renters, and then we're going to talk about the green flags for any landlords or owners that I may have listening. So for the renters, important things you need to remember is notices must be written correctly. Amounts must usually be rent only. I kind of discussed that only. No late fees, no pet fees, just rent. And lockouts, they can't lock you out. Utilities shut, they can't turn off your utilities, or threats are not allowed. This is a legal process, not a scare tactic. Right, so this is California laws, 3-day notices. So for landlords, what you need to know, your green flags. So you want to make sure that the correct notice format, the correct rent amount, proper service, clear payment instructions, and documentation. So you want to document it. There's a proof of service that you have to serve with the notice on how you served it. There's 3 ways you could serve a notice. You're supposed to knock on the door, knock, knock, knock. And you give the notice directly to the tenant. The second option, you knock on the door. I'm going to have to give me some sound effects. Knock on the door and you hand the notice to someone 18 years or older. If the first two doesn't work, the third option is you post the notice to the door and then you also mail a copy. That's your 3 day. That's your 3 ways of how you serve a notice. Additional ways you could do is you could email it. Hey, just want to let you know. You can send a text. I posted a notice to your door. But the 3 proof of service are what I said. Give it directly to the tenant. Give it to someone over the age of 18. Post it and mail it. It does not have to be certified mail. It could be regular mail. And if you really want, I take a picture, not in my 39 units. I don't do that here. But when I'm helping owners, I do tenant placement for owners. So when I'm helping them and it's just a one place, I take a picture when I put the notice on the door. I take a picture of me mailing it and I send that to my owner to let them know that I did do that. Red flags. So let's talk about red flags. So you adding fees that don't belong. So the 3-day notice is just for rent. So no late fees, no parking fees, no pet fee, none of those fees. So just the amount of rent that they owe. Wrong dates or dollar amounts. These are things that are red flags that will probably delay your process because the judge will make you redo the notice again. Using outdated forms. Make sure you got the update, know the updated laws, have the updated form. Improper service. Like I told you, there's 3 ways to serve it. So if you email it only, right now, that's not one of the 3 proofs of service. Now, in a lease, if it says that the tenant allow electronic notices, that's fine. You can email it, but do one of the 3 proofs of services first. Okay? Threats instead of process. So you can't threaten the tenant, you better pay me my money or I'm going to kick you out or turn off your heat or turn off the water or blah, blah, blah. You can't do that. You can't, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And one mistake could delay everything. So what I'm going to end up doing in my stand store is I'm going to post, not a notice, but I'm going to post what you need to make sure your notice have. And just for the landlords, for you to know, you do not have to go through like an attorney to get the notice. You could do the notice yourself. You just need to make sure that it has all the points. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later or in a notice of where you could get a 3-day notice from. Because as I said before, my disclaimer, I am not an attorney, so I am not going to be given forms, but I will let you know and give you a checklist on what needs to be in there. And just let me point this out because I'm in Alameda County, Northern California. They made it, well, they're enforcing things. They're getting more stricter with the enforcements of these 3-day notices. So you want to make sure it's right. So this is a good topic to have right now. Okay. So what a valid notice generally includes. So this is still for the landlord. So what your notice should include is the tenant name or names. If there's more than one person in there over the age of 18, try to include all their names on there. But you also could put something like and other occupants, or if you don't know who all is in there. The rental address, the exact rent amount. So if they owe for 2 months, you could put that in a notice, but it's just rent. So if they owe $500 from December and now they owe $2,000 for January, you could put $2,500 on there. Right? So it doesn't have to just be the current rent. It's whatever rent they owe. You want the exact rent amount, the time period, so you could break those down, how and where to pay. You need to have a couple of ways they could pay. It can't be direct deposit or Zelle. Give them a couple of different ways to pay. One of my attorneys, we gave a notice. They was like, you didn't say who they could pay. I was like, my name had to be on the notice. They said, you're not saying who to pay. And I gave my office hours and when they could drop it off, but my name needed to be on the notice on who they need to pay. They want to make it clear that the tenant can't say, well, I didn't know who I was to pay. I didn't know I was supposed to pay, Susan, because I normally pay John or whatever. So just make it clear on who to pay. The deadline, you want to get this in before the deadline. You want to make sure when you're doing a notice that you are within the 3 days. So remember what I said for the renter, you do not count the day that you're sending the notice, and you want to make sure that the next business day is an actual day, not a weekend or a holiday. So if you send a notice on a Monday, you post the notice on a Monday, then your 3 days start on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you did not receive the rent by Thursday, then on Friday you could start what's called an unlawful detainer or the eviction. What I normally do, is if my tenant hasn't called me or let me know, I'm checking because I don't want to go through the eviction process. It's long, it's tedious, I don't want to. But we're going to talk about more about the eviction process later. But I usually give my tenant a call. Hey, you got the when is rent? You got it? When is it coming? And I let them know. I had one person where I could pay in 2 weeks. I said, you're already a week behind, so that's 3 weeks. So that's putting us almost at the end of the month. I said, I can't do that. Can you borrow from friends? Can you do something? So, she got the money. She said, okay. And she had it that day. But I usually just give them that courtesy call because I don't want to do the eviction process. Anyway, I think I nailed that right. So make sure the key information, that there's no key information missing from the notice, and because that could hold it up. So what a 3-day notice does not mean. So the 3-day notice, once again, and I kind of said this for the renter side, is the 3-day notice does not mean you are not to evict. The sheriff is not coming. You cannot be locked out. Utilities cannot be shut off. So those are what it doesn't mean. So let me see if I have any questions, because I'm kind of done. I've been reserving an hour for these TikToks lives, but we're finishing up almost in 30 minutes. So maybe 30 minutes might be the sweet spot unless I start getting some questions. But I'll keep it as an hour, but once I get questions. So I want to just talk about real quick the February series that we're going to be doing. So although all through February, we're going to continue this series, Have You Paid Rent? And I'm going to walk you through what happens after a 3-day notice, the eviction process step by step, court timelines, common mistakes renters and landlords make, how to protect yourself on both sides. So that's what I'm going to be talking each Thursday in the month of February. So stay tuned, come back, follow me, like and share. Let people know that I'm breaking it down and talking about these housing laws and keeping our renters and our landlords educated to save you money and time and stress. So make sure you follow me here on TikTok. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. That's where I share the California housing clarity, clear, calm, and educational. Once again, let me put my disclaimer out there. I'm not an attorney. This is educational purposes only. This is not legal advice, but I have been doing this for 25 years and I've seen a lot. And right now, things are just stricter. It's just stricter. If you haven't caught my series, I've been breaking down the housing laws. Go back, take a look at those. I'm going to be uploading and posting more for that. And if you have, and if you want a one-on-one help or understanding of your situation, you could book a housing clarity call with me. That's going to be, I'm going to pin that to the comment section because my stand store isn't fully up and running yet. I need to verify my business and stuff like that, or get 1,000 followers. So follow me, share this, follow me. I'm halfway there. I'm almost at 1,000, and then I could have my link of my stand store in my bio. So once again, this is not legal advice. It's education. It's for review and next step guidance, so you can make better decisions, informed decisions. So the link will be in a comment after this video is over. So just share this with someone who needs it. Information changes outcome. And I'll see you on the next live. I'm going to be posting the next live, which is next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Meet me here. This is where I will be. And I'll post that and the topic that we're going to be talking. Let me just make sure I don't see any questions before I end this. Thank you, everyone, for coming in and joining. And I'll catch you on the next live. And thank you for sitting the 3-day notice, pay rent or quit process. So hopefully you got some understanding of the process a little bit better. And I will catch you on the next live. Bye. Thank you, friend, for showing up.